Good morning and welcome to the CPS test garden. Today we are going to plant some cool weather crops, some leafy greens, in a really weedy garden bed. So we'll kind of go from like the beginning of that to actually having things planted and watered. So this is the bed that we're going to work on today. And I thought that I'd show you the supplies that I have for both steps in this process. So these are the initial tools just for clearing the bed. I have some pruners. You can use snips. You can use like kitty scissors. I've got a rake, and I've got this is my favorite tool, but you can also use a trowel. I have gloves, and then I have two different buckets or trugs. One is going to be for saving some seeds, and then the other is for capturing all the weeds. And then over here, this is for planting. So I'm calling this garden bed the Luscious Leaves bed. So today we'll plant romaine lettuce with chard, cilantro, ovation mix. Those are already labeled. I've got some other just kind of directional labels that I'll show you later. The actual seeds, a ruler, some string, and then both water and a water bottle, just if you don't have a gentle way of watering. So we can go ahead, and the first thing is to look at all of these weeds and kind of determine how we're going to do this. So really the thing with these raised garden beds is that we're planting really intensively, and we want to make sure that when we're weeding that we're not getting weed seeds onto the soil, because of course we want to grow plants that are edible, and we don't want to grow weeds. So the first thing you can do, and this is also a fun thing to do with students, is to start looking at where the seeds are in the garden. So one set of seeds that I've noticed in here, these are actually coriander seeds, which is from the cilantro plant. So what I'm going to do, because I want to actually plant those today, is I'm going to grab my blue bucket and my pruners, and I'm going to go ahead and just snip off some of these. Then you'll see I have another weed in here with some seeds on it. So I'm just going to save a handful of these so that we can plant them today. I'm going to set that aside. Then I'm going to get this bucket, which will just be for all the weeds. So I'm going to go through a little bit more, take a look. Like you can see on this dandelion that there's like dandelion seeds here. I can pull those off. If you look closely, I think this is purslane mixed in with something else. There's all kinds of seeds that are tiny and black on here. So I'm going to take out kind of as many of those, and this is a good student task, just to get those out and drop them in the bucket. And then if I see any other large seeds, sometimes the nightshade already, you can see where the flower is, but those will have purple seeds. I don't see those yet, so I'm not going to be as concerned. This grass has like tons, I don't know if you'll be able to see those, but tons of just tiny little seeds in here. So I'm going to clip that off and put that in the bucket. So I'll do that as much as I possibly can. And then after that, I'm going to start just uprooting, and the cilantro I don't want. So after that, we'll just start uprooting. So we'll show you now. I'm just going to kind of go through and finish this quickly. Okay, so after I remove as many seeds as possible, I'm just going to gently uproot any other plants. Again, trying not to shake them so much so that they drop any other seeds, but trying to get out as much of the plant as possible and placing it in my bucket. So as you can see, I cleared out the weeds. Some of the situation with weed seeds, I'm noticing, is a very losing battle. There's a lot of cilantro seeds in here, or coriander seeds that will grow cilantro plants, and just a bunch of other like weed seeds. So we're gonna do the best we can. So after I uprooted everything, you saw that I smoothed things out. We have this drip irrigation, so I'm kind of smoothing around that and then patting everything down. This is a great time to add compost if you have it, just some sort of bagged compost that's safe for edible plants, and put about 2 inches in and really mix it through. If you don't have that, like I don't, after the plants are growing, I'm gonna add like an organic slow release fertilizer. So now we get to be on to the fun part, which is the planting, and I do like a modified square root garden planting. So the way that I like to set this up is like sort of in squares, right? And so this is like 12 inches. Our bed is like at the skinniest about 2 feet. And then it gets bigger. So again, this is kind of a rough estimate, but I like to do this especially with students because then you can show them exactly where to plant. So I'm gonna cut that into, it's about 1 foot at the top and maybe 1.5 feet at the bottom. And then also splitting this up. Oops. So we're basically in 4 sections. And then I'm gonna come and label which sections get which seeds. So we're going to do a romaine lettuce. I'm gonna put that this way and put it right here. So that will be in this section. We are going to do some Swiss chard, which will also be in that section, or the section behind. Then we'll do an ovation mix, which is a baby mix, and then some cilantro. So what you need to determine here is how many, or what type of like head or baby leaf you want. So with this romaine lettuce, we're going to, and it's fall, so we're not gonna get a lot of time to grow, but we're gonna try to do about 4 romaine lettuce plants here. You could do up to 6. We're gonna try 4, which means that you're gonna wanna give your students, you could give 4 students 1 seed apiece and then show them where to plant it. So the way that I'm gonna do that is I'm gonna put more sticks exactly where I want that to be planted. And then I would give kids 1 to 2 seeds each, 2 in case the first one doesn't germinate. And then I'll show you how to plant those a second. So what I'll do is just put down some markers. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's going to be where I want your students to plant the seeds. And then I will find, I have the lettuce seeds, and these are so tiny, so they hardly need to be under the soil at all. So what I tell students is that they take the 1 tiny seed or 2 tiny seeds and just place it right down and press their finger in a little bit and then just cover and tap. So that's really all they need to do. Some kids will want to dig a big hole, put their seed in it, and then cover it over, and by that time it is like 6 feet underground, and then it doesn't get enough warmth or heat. Okay, so that's how we do if we want like a heading or larger plant. I will do the same thing with Swiss chard, the same thing with cilantro. So I'll do 4 Swiss chard, I'll do 4 cilantro, and then I'll show you how to do like a baby mix of greens. So we're actually going to reseed coriander seeds, which turn into cilantro plants. So this grew in this bed. So for each of these 4 spaces where we're going to plant I don't know how well these are going to germinate. So maybe 3 seeds. So kids can just pull them off and then plant, doing 1, 2, 3 seeds just in that area. Same strategy, just press down. These seeds are slightly bigger, so they can press down maybe to like halfway down to their fingernail, and then cover and pat with good seed to soil contact. So just doing that at each spot. And then that's a really great way to see the whole life cycle of a plant. So that's for the cilantro. The next one is this ovation mix, which is a mix of like mustard greens and some mizuna. I think there's some kale in there. So this one is intended to be like a baby mix of greens, which I'm gonna predict is gonna be successful for our growing season, because we can harvest these really small. So this is kind of the method where it's like sprinkles on a cupcake. So if you give kids just a little bit in their hand, and then they can pick it up and just sprinkle, right? And this is maybe like 50 seeds that you're sprinkling all through here. And then you can just rake it with your fingers, and the same thing where you pat it down. So now you see everything is labeled. I'll pull my strings up. Oh, here's an extra. Put my seeds away that I still have in my hands. And then the last step, of course, is to water. We want to keep the seed bed nice and moist until the plants have started to grow. So one way to do this gently is just to pour water in your hand and let it run. The other way is with a hose end sprayer, just making sure it's on like a mist or a very gentle spray so that you're not pushing the seeds around too much. And then make sure just that everything looks moist every day, and then you should be set to go. And in a week or so, you'll see some little sprouts. So, oh, and my last thing is just putting on the label. I'm calling this the Luscious Leaves Garden, which is really great for a fall harvest. So thanks for coming today, and we'll see you next time.